I think people probably are too easy to quit on their drawing. And I almost refer to a finished drawing as the aggregate of all the mistakes coming together. Do you know what I mean?
100%. It's an amalgam. A
Like
finished drawing for me is an amalgamation of mistakes. That is what my
that's
drawings
right.
are. Like every
That's
single
it.
drawing is just it's just an amalgamation of mistakes. It's all
Yeah.
just because there's no such thing as like I guess when you look at a finished work of art, and it could be anything, it could be a building structure, it could be anything. When you look at something finished, yes, it does have this completed look, but the process, there was no brick is ever perfectly laid. There's always
Mhm.
little, it's always out a little bit. There's no such thing
Yeah.
as that perfection is an illusion. No thing is a perfectionist. Perfection is
Yeah.
an illusion. So I think that is very dangerous because the thing about hyperrealism that is very discouraging for or disheartening for a lot of artists is they think it's perfection, hyperrealism.
Mhm.
So they go into creating hyperrealistic art with the intention of having perfect strokes every step of the way. When really
No, yeah,
it's
that's
just
right.
you make several mistakes when you're trying to
That's
blend.
right.
There's blotchiness, like this.
Yeah.
It's all about mistakes, but it's about that. And you know that, bro. You know the blotchiness is the most annoying, but you find
Yeah.
ways to get
Yeah.
through it, man. Like and I think that's what levels your skill up. That's what takes you to another level of skill when you can see the mistake and find a way to get through it. It's just like I love to use working out as a lot of examples in my life because you
Yeah,
know
me too. Yeah.
you're trying to for example you're trying to bench press 100 kg, and and you're struggling. A lot of people could just quit, like ever trying to attempt that again, but you have to work around it. Like you build yourself up before you can get there, and it's the same thing with what we do. You're not it's not something you can just do overnight. I didn't come out my mum's womb with a pencil drawing the way I do. It takes a lot of patience. It takes patience, it takes endurance, resilience, because those mistakes, yes, it's discouraging. And I would say the person that asked that question, that is a prime example of someone who's come out of the schooling system and believes in failures and mistakes being a negative thing, when really it's not.
Mhm.
Like in life, like any kind of progression you make,
How do you
again and
learn
again.
something without a mistake, right? Like that's how
Absolutely.
do you like really the only mistake that you should feel bad about, not like to a significant degree, would be the one that you didn't learn from, right? So like that's the whole point of a mistake,
Mm.
right? Is to gain some knowledge from it. Like, could you imagine just drawing hyper-realism type drawings just from the start? Like, there's probably millions of mistakes that went into that, and then recalibrating, and
Mm.
then adjusting along the way, right? So definitely, I'm usually grateful for the mistakes because it gives me another opportunity to figure out how to incorporate that into the drawing so that it doesn't look like a mistake necessarily, right? Like with my
Absolutely.
with my latest Michael Jordan drawing, the hand was
Beautiful, by the way.
I dropped. Thank you. I dropped some charcoal powder on the hand, and it rubbed right into the page, and it could not erase. It was just a big black spot that covered the whole hand, and so that was a huge mistake that just wasn't salvageable. But I couldn't erase it. But I figured out a way to incorporate it into the wrinkles to make it look like it was part
Mm.
of the drawing to some extent, right? So that you wouldn't be able to necessarily do that otherwise if you didn't make those mistakes, right?
Absolutely.